5555 Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Tuesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us as the Jacksonville Jaguar head coaching search continues. Robert Salah, former New York Jets coach, former 49er defensive coordinator, and a former position coach here with the Jaguars, interviewed today. That makes the known interviews go up to 5. They've now interviewed 5 people, either virtually or in person. We know Brian Flores has an interview scheduled for Friday. That will be interview number 6. I don't think they've officially released anything else. Now, they could interview people without telling us, right? But they've been very, very transparent with who they're bringing in and when they're bringing them in. So the interview list now is Steve Spagnuolo, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, Patrick Graham, Robert Salah, and Friday will be Brian Flores. Obviously, that means they have yet to talk, reportedly, to Liam Cohen, to Joe Brady, to Kellen Moore, or to Todd Monken, the other names that were on the initial list of 10 that they were interested in interviewing for the Jaguar head coaching position. And as I was telling Rick there on the 2-minute drill, this process now entering day number 8, or I guess at the end of day number 8, it's almost kind of like a flavor of the day. What candidate's going to be the flavor of the day for the Jacksonville Jaguars? There have been some days you wake up and it's Ben Johnson. There's been some days you wake up and it's Aaron Glenn. There have been some days you wake up and it's Liam Cohen. Today, I think it was mostly Liam Cohen, but I heard a little bit about Joe Brady. And, of course, Robert Salah was in for an interview. And speaking of Robert Salah, Zack Rosenblatt is a National Football League writer for The Athletic. He also lives in the New York area. And he made a little news yesterday with I guess it's a prediction. It was sort of like a prediction. Essentially saying Robert Salah is much more in the Jaguar head coaching search than maybe people either want to believe or do believe. And that Robert Salah is so well respected in the building, it would not surprise Zach, again, an NFL writer for The Athletic, if Salah were definitely in play for the head coaching position. Reached out to Zach. We're going to have him on towards the top of the 9 o'clock hour to talk about the candidacy of Robert Salah, who, of course, the Jaguars did indeed interview today. Also coming up in about 15 minutes or so, Jason Cole. Jason Cole is a longtime NFL reporter, has been with many different outlets over the years. He is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. And Jason shoots you straight, man. Jason tells you what he thinks. He doesn't sugarcoat a whole lot. And I know we released that soundbite earlier today. It was about 20 seconds of the interview you will hear coming up in about 15 minutes, where Jason Cole, I want to make that very clear, Jason, not myself, but our guest, had some pretty indicting things to say about what was going on with Trent Baalke in the weeks leading up to the firing of Doug Peterson. And I'll let you listen to it verbatim. You can decipher it however you will. But the one thing I will say is that Jason Cole is a pretty well-respected NFL guy. I mean, they just don't let anybody vote for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, right? So when you hear what Jason Cole says about Trent Baalke, the process, and not only keeping him, but firing Doug Peterson, the perception of Trent Baalke around the league, just know that Again, Jason Cole's been around this game for a long time. He votes on the Hall of Fame every year. Some of the things he said were interesting, and I'll leave it at that. You'll be able to hear it for yourself coming up here in less than 15 minutes. I will ask him as well about Fred Taylor. Again, Jason will be in the room as a Hall of Fame voter when the 15 finalists are presented to the voting committee, and I'll ask him flat out what he thinks the chances are that Fred Taylor will join Tony Baselli in Canton, Ohio, as Jacksonville Jaguar Hall of Famer. So that conversation with Jason Cole is less than 15 minutes away. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No, because it is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
Couple of big deals of the night. I want to begin going down memory lane. I woke up this morning, saw a couple of things, and then it hit me. Bam. You probably heard this during the day, but in the event that you did not, do you know, Jaguar fans, where you were 2 years ago today? 2 years. Not a long period of time. What is that, 730 days? I guess with leap year, it would have been 731 days ago. Not a long period of time. Odds are you were either in Everbank Stadium or obviously watching the game or listening to it here on 1010XL as the Los Angeles Chargers took a 27-0 lead, only to have Jacksonville come back and score 31 of the final 34 points in that game to cap off one of the biggest comebacks in NFL postseason history and have Trevor Lawrence run around the field in celebration and then say, I'm going to the Waffle House to celebrate a 31-30 playoff victory over the LA Chargers. Yeah, that was 2 years ago today. Boy, life comes at you pretty quick, doesn't it, when it comes to the NFL? Who in their wildest Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Leatherface nightmare could have imagined on that night, January 14th, 2023, that just 2 years later, you could argue, legitimately argue, the Jaguars are one of, if not the worst teams in football. Doug Peterson would be fired. Trent Baalke would remain as Jaguar general manager, to the absolute ire of pretty much every Jaguar fan listening to me tonight. And that there would be many more questions than answers here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. 2 years from that victory over LA and one of the biggest comebacks in NFL postseason history to where we are today. It's hard to believe. But as I often say, that's reality, man. Reality is what it is. In 2 years, you took the promise, the excitement, everything that went on that night at Everbank Stadium, January 14th, 2023, in that victory over the Chargers in the playoffs, that was taken from us and crushed and smashed and obliterated into a million pieces. And all that's left is what we have right now, 2 years after the fact. So happy 2-year anniversary to one of the biggest wins in Jacksonville Jaguar history, but it puts into perspective just how south things can go and how awful things can become in just 2 short years. The other big deal of the night, Robert Salah in for an interview today with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, I said this last week, and I mean it, and I still mean it. Of the 10 names that the Jaguars have released that they were interested in interviewing for their head coaching position, I said 3 of which would make me extremely happy. And that was Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, or Aaron Glenn. But in that same breath, I also said 3 of the names as well would make me pretty happy. And that was Joe Brady, Brian Flores, and Robert Salah. I would be fine with Robert Salah. I don't necessarily understand the issue that some Jaguar fans have about him. Mid-40s, did a decent job in New York. I mean, after Aaron Rodgers ruptures his Achilles 4 plays into the year last year, he kept that team afloat. He kept that team at least in a playoff conversation into December. The Jaguars would have loved to be in a playoff conversation into December this year. Are you kidding me? And then Robert Salah, what were they, 2-3, and he was shown the door this year? After the loss the Jets had in London, and you see what happened to the Jets after Salah was fired. I don't think Salah's a bad coach. I think Salah's a good defensive mind. Now, obviously, it would come down to who he brings in with him on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, that goes without saying. But I saw a lot of comments today about that would be the settle coach. They have to settle for Robert Salah. Don't want to retread. There was a lot of stuff. And it was just like, wow. People think Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen and Joe Brady are going to be can't miss. And I agree. I like their candidacy, but in the no way, shape, or form do I think Salah would be a bad choice. If you were to tell me that the next head football coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars would be Robert Salah, I'll tell you this. I think they could do a heck of a lot worse. Could they do better? Maybe. But I think they could do an awful lot worse than Robert Salah. I would not mind that. Again, if I had my choice, I would go in some order: Cohen, Glenn, Johnson in tier 1. And then right underneath them, Salah, Flores, Joe Brady. When it comes to Kellen Moore, Todd Monken, Patrick Graham, Steve Spagnuolo, I would have questions about any of those guys. But not at all about Salah. I would be fine with that. And it goes back into what we talked about last night, right? Look at the divisional round of the playoffs this weekend. You got to get the hot young offensive mind. You just got to, right? You got to get the next Sean McVay. All right, perhaps. Sean McVay is in the divisional round playing Nick Sirianni, 2 offensive guys, right? And then, of course, you have Andy Reid, Kansas City, obviously one of the best offensive minds there's ever been in the NFL. But take a look at the other 5 teams that are playing on divisional weekend. D'Amico Ryans, defense. John Harbaugh, special teams. Sean McDermott, defense. Dan Quinn, defense. Dan Campbell, yeah, he was a tight ends coach, but do you think Dan Campbell is an offensive mastermind? Of course not. That's what he has Ben Johnson for. That's why Dan Quinn went out and got Cliff Kingsbury. That's why John Harbaugh went and got Todd Monken. That's why Sean McDermott went and got Joe Brady. And that's why D'Amico Ryans went and got Bobby Slowick. You get the right guy will put the right pieces around him. Remember last year how high everybody was on Ryan Nielsen? Oh, Doug Peterson hit a home run. Ryan Nielsen this and Ryan Nielsen that. Great coordinator. Did a terrific job in Atlanta. What a great hire. Ryan Nielsen was kind of the flavor of the month when it came to defensive coordinator candidates. How'd that work out? There's always going to be hindsight, man. Sometimes the least popular guy at the beginning might be the most popular guy at the end. Just something to keep in mind as we work our way down this roller coaster known as the Jacksonville Jaguar head coaching search. Jason Cole has been a longtime NFL writer, reporter. He is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. I'm going to ask Jason Cole about Fred Taylor and his candidacy. We're going to talk about that. But Jason Cole told me some interesting things that he had heard. Again, it's up to you whether you want to believe Jason Cole or not. I simply provide you the interview. You do with it what you will. I'm not sure necessarily what Jason Cole would have to gain by lying to you. He wouldn't have anything to gain by lying to you. Jason Cole is going to tell you what he heard coming out of the Jaguar building about Trent Baalke. I thought it was very interesting. I think you will find it very interesting. And it's coming up next on a Tuesday night. Hacker After Dark rolls on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
So I guess we got two legends then, huh?
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Still friends?
You know it.
Together they are The Drill.
I love that name. You should get it on the back of matching jackets.
Bringing the energy every morning.
I can say big loud things.
On 1010XL.
Hacker here with a question. Was your goal to lose weight this year? If so, are you already down 31 pounds? Now, that's a serious question because I dropped 31 pounds my first 3 weeks alone with Awaken 180 weight loss. Now, I had more to lose than most, but Dempsey, Matt Hayes both dropped 18 in their first 3 weeks. That's how fast the weight can fall off when you choose the solution for weight loss. Where am I now? I'm down over 115 pounds. My goal was to lose 100, but my new goal is to be under 200 pounds for the first time since I was in college. The results are real and the results are fast with Awaken 180. Whether you're not seeing these types of results with your new weight loss program or if you've already given up, don't. Do what we all did and make the call to Awaken 180. 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Budweiser reminds us to drink wiser, like hydrating between beers. It keeps the fun going longer, and it's a commitment to responsibility. Remember, good times are ahead, so no need to overdo it. Know when to say when, and always designate a driver.
Mia here for MyBookie. It's win or go home. The NFL playoffs are the ticket to the biggest game of the year, and all roads lead to New Orleans. The NCAA playoffs will set the stage, but this is your chance to get in on every high-stakes moment along the way. Your road to New Orleans starts now with MyBookie. MyBookie is the ultimate destination for bettors who want more, whether you're betting the underdogs or riding with the favorites. Every drive, every touchdown, every moment is an opportunity to win big. Kick off your 2025 right with risk-free Thursdays. Place a bet, and if it doesn't hit, MyBookie has your back. Dive into the Bet Boost tab to supercharge your picks and build that bankroll before the big game. And when the games are over, the action does not stop, folks. MyBookie's online casino keeps the excitement going 24/7. Blackjack, roulette, slots, it's all there. Whether you're celebrating a big win or gearing up for the next round. Haven't joined yet? Now's the time. Use promo code 1010XL on your first deposit, and MyBookie will hook you up with an instant bonus because you deserve to start the year off right.
It's New Year's resolution time, so why not skip the guilt and do something you'll actually stick to, like fixing that leaky faucet, unclogging that drain, or getting your AC ready for the summer.
DuckDuckRooter is here to help you keep this resolution, investing in your home.
Start the year off right with DuckDuckRooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Call us today at 904-862-6769, because when you're stuck, call the Duck. Right now, get $50 off any service of $150 or more.
Tony Baselli gets up early Monday morning to share a big football breakfast with you.
Some French toast and sausage patties.
Hall of Fame Mondays, 7:20 with Dan and Jeff on The Drill. Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida on 1010XL.
Don't go through another year with all that high-interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Prosser here, and Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and personal loans, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. You can. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 904-999-1508, or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free quote now with no hard credit pull at 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court: the Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com, powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. We are over a week into the Jaguar head coaching search now. The Jaguars have already conducted 4 or 5 interviews virtually. They'll start the in-person interview process coming up within the week. And a little bit of a wrinkle now as the Dallas Cowboy head coaching job has opened. Let's talk about all of it with Jason Cole. He's covered the NFL for years. He is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Jason, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, Jason, we always appreciate the time. All right, the Jaguar head coaching job. I obviously haven't spoken to you since all the news broke last week. Your reaction to not only Doug Peterson being fired, but Trent Baalke apparently being retained as general manager.
Well, I understood the first part. I mean, as much as I'm a Doug Peterson fan and a friend of his, I mean, I've known Doug since he was a player when I was down in Miami, so I've known him since then for going on, 30 years. I was there when he, was quarterback when Shula broke the wins record. So I was a guy, a certain fondness for him, but, it didn't work. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. You lose your job. But how the hell does Trent Baalke still have a job?
That's the $1 million question. That's one we'd all like to know, too. And look, it's like I said last week, Jason. I mean, Trent Baalke is not without positives. He's done some good things in the draft, but almost
Ryan, everybody in the NFL calls him a backstabber.
Well, that's
everybody.
Everybody,
people within that organization call him a backstabber.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy that people can't trust, and somehow the owners still believes that he is. He's not a team guy. Trent's a me guy. And, as long as that's the case, there's going to be suspicion. That's his reputation around the entire NFL. You have to clear that out. He's got to go back to being, a scout or a, personnel guy. If I'm a head coach, I don't come in wanting to work with this guy. And, that's, you go back to Leftwich, who, I'm not saying he would have been a great hire either, but he had trust issues with Baalke. And I just don't understand how he survives. So, Shad, who I think Shad's heart is in the right place. He wants to be good at this, but for whatever reason, he's got a certain blind spot for people. But I heard weeks ago like that Trent was doing everything in the world he could to backstab anyone he could to make sure that he survived. And when I was told that by somebody within the organization, I thought, well, that's going to have to get back to Shad, and that he would dismiss him, but he didn't. So I'm just stunned by this.
Wow, your voice certainly resonates. You've covered the NFL for years. Again, Jason Cole here with us. And based on what you're saying, not to put words in your mouth, but obviously we know here in Jacksonville that Balky has that reputation around the league. Are you saying, Jason, that it's a reputation that's probably warranted?
Well, reputations only happen in this league like that. Reputations are only developed like that for good reason. And so if that's what your reputation is, that's what you've done one way or another. And let's just say this. Trent Baalke has spent a lot of his life claiming to have been very successful in San Francisco with somebody else's players, and that somebody else was Scott McCloughan, who drafted most of the players who made that team great. And, you know, I just, you know, he is what he is. The reputation is what the reputation is. And if you don't understand that, and don't understand that that's what gets around the league, and that's what your next head coach is walking into, believing that he's a backstabber, you've got problems with the culture of your team. And that's just the way that it works. And, you know, I've met Trent a bunch of times. I've talked to him. I have my own opinions on him. And they're not, you know, particularly positive. But I can tell you absolutely 100% for sure that people think that he's a backstabber. And again, people within the organization now believe that. And that's, and outside. If that exists, the next coach is not going to trust the environment. And even if he's answering directly to the owner and whatever the structure is, the GM still has the ear of the owner. And the other thing that always, you know, inevitably happens is the most powerful person in any organization, other than the owner, is the person who sits next to the owner during games. Because that person can talk directly to the owner as the games are playing out. And that's when when people are at their most vulnerable, when they're in the middle of trying to compete. So, you know, you put it together. You know, it's pretty standard that good coaches are going to look at this situation and go, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Jason Cole is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Jason, the only one that the reports are out there that its definite issue is potentially Ben Johnson. We haven't necessarily heard that from the likes of Liam Cohen or Aaron Glenn or anybody else that they've interviewed or plan on interviewing. But do you think it's more than just Ben Johnson? Do you think other guys would have a problem with Baalke?
Yes. I mean, Ryan, I'm trying to tell you as many different ways as I can. I mean, somebody's going to have a problem with Baalke. Now, they may take the job because the money's good, right? Like, there aren't that many jobs like this where you can make $6, $8, $10 million a year and get a guaranteed contract for 3, 4, 5 years, right? Like, that's life-changing money. Somebody's going to take the job, even if they're forced to take Baalke. Well, the person that you need to take the job, that's the question that you have to answer.
Well, let's get to that right now. Obviously, here in Jacksonville, as is the case, I imagine, in Chicago and in Las Vegas, Ben Johnson's name is right at the top of the fans' wish list. Do you buy the Ben Johnson hype, Jason, as a head coach?
Look, he's done a great job. Do you get to bring 3 of the players from Detroit with you?
Unfortunately, not.
Like, yeah. Right. So, I mean, look, that's a great offense. They got great players. He's doing a great. I mean, he's designing up plays. He's doing a wonderful thing. I would say, you know, he doesn't have what I would call a world beater at quarterback, but he's got a quarterback who's been to a Super Bowl and is super accurate. Jared Goff has got whatever your grade is on accuracy. It's as high as anybody could ever possibly be. Now he has faults in other ways. He's too reliant on play action. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He can get overwhelmed physically. Those are little things, but everybody has some kind of fault, right? But the art of throwing is not one of his faults. The art of throwing is great. And if you have that and you've got the weapons that you have, it's just a matter of, hey, get the ball out there to those guys. And he can do that. So I say all of that to say, they've assembled maybe the best offensive line in the league with an incredible collection of skill position guys. Starting with quarterback, one of the best tight ends in the league in Laporta, great, possession type receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. And Jamison Williams can take the top off of the defense. The two running backs. I mean, that's as complete a team as you possibly can have. So I say all that to go, I like what Ben Johnson's doing. He's maximized what he has. Can he do that in a place where you don't have the same kind of talent? Or where your quarterback is maybe, we've seen a lot more flaws than we have seen talent over the last couple of years. And that's a sad assessment of Trevor Lawrence. And I think that Trevor Lawrence is earnestly trying to be a better quarterback. I just don't think he knows how. I don't know if he's necessarily equipped with everything that goes with being, the next Peyton Manning. He may be closer to Eli Manning, which if you can get those end results and get 2 Super Bowls, you'd gladly take it. But there's just something missing with Trevor Lawrence. It's just not all there right now.
Jason, if not Ben Johnson, the other names, at least the fans want, and they know the Jaguars have expressed interest in all these guys, whether it's Liam Cohen, Joe Brady, Aaron Glenn, those are probably the next 3 on the fans' wish list. Of those 3, Cohen, Brady, Glenn, anything stand out to you?
Brady's done a really nice job with Josh Allen and gotten him. He's somehow convinced him to stop taking so many chances because Josh Allen has had a spectacular season this year in terms of not committing turnovers. He's really to me, that's part and parcel with why if I was to vote for Josh Allen, one of the main reasons I would vote for Josh Allen is that at a time when his team really needed him to step up and eliminate the mistakes, he did exactly that. He got rid of the stupid interceptions. He got rid of some of the fumbles. He was more judicious. He was everything that they needed him to be this year while they were taking weapons away, essentially. They got rid of Diggs. And they downgraded on defense to put him in a little bit more precarious situation. I still think that there's a great argument for Lamar Jackson to win the MVP again. But if I was arguing on behalf of Josh Allen, that would be one of the main arguments I would make on his behalf. And I think it's about a 50-50. But that's, goes back to Joe Brady and the work that he's done convincing Josh Allen to play that way. A lot of people think that Joe Brady's, a super arrogant guy. That doesn't bother me in the least bit. But, if you want to hear negatives about him, that's one of the negatives you'll hear about him. And he's obviously learned a lot of offensive football, and done a really great job because he worked well with Joe Burrow. He obviously, watched, Drew Brees and Sean Payton when he was there. So if you've got a quarterback like Joe Brady is right up there as a guy that you want to have and see if you can develop him. At the same time, like Trevor's got to take it on his own to get this done, because he just got Doug Peterson fired, and Doug Peterson's about as good a guy as you're ever going to get to help a quarterback get better.
Final moments with Jason Cole. Obviously, that's the big topic here in Jacksonville, Jason, the head coaching search. The other topic that'll pick up some steam as the days turn into weeks here is Fred Taylor. You're a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. Fred Taylor, for the second year in a row, his name will be in the room as one of the 15 finalists for you guys to discuss for induction into Canton, Ohio. What are your thoughts on Fred Taylor, his candidacy, his second year as a finalist, everything with that?
Look, I've said this many times. I love Fred Taylor. As a player, as a person, but as a player, I covered those Dolphins Jaguars game, and he's still running in those games. I can see the moves, I can see the power. He's an amazing football player. For whatever reason, like he finished, I think 11th or 12th in my survey this year. Like a lot of running backs, he doesn't have as many what you call blue years, top end years, as a lot of other guys who are on this list. So I think it may be a fight for him for another year before he gets in, if he's ever going to have a chance. It's tough, but the good news is he's on the ballot, and we keep talking about it. And as long as you stay on the ballot, you got a chance. You got a chance to move up, but it may take a few years. As good as he was, and certainly the best of Fred Taylor belongs in the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, the history of Fred Taylor is a lot of injuries marred, what could have been a far more spectacular career. He still had a great career. I don't know if it ends up in Canton this year. I would doubt it this year, but I think the important part is he keeps coming back on the ballot.
Yeah, similar to Baselli. It took Baselli quite a few years once he got into the room, as we call it, one of the 15 finalists. But ultimately, Tony's day came, and hopefully one day Fred Taylor's day will come as well. It's always a great day when we have Jason Cole, a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. Jason, appreciate your candor, man, on the Trent Baalke situation. You really said some things that, quite frankly, I think are going to get some traction among Jaguar fans here. Don't be surprised if your social media blows up a little bit. But thank you as always, pal, and we'll do it again soon.
Anytime. Talk to you later. Bye.
There you go. Jason Cole with us here on Hacker After Dark. There's a lot to unpack there. The Fred Taylor thing first. I don't like hearing that. I mean, I like Jason's honesty, but we see Fred Taylor a certain way because we are Jaguar media, Jaguar fans. We know Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor gives us fist pounds, right? Denmark, I'll never forget the first time I got a fist pound from Fred Taylor. I was like 20, 21 years old. I just thought that was the greatest thing on planet Earth. I was in, man. When Fred Taylor gave me a fist pound, are you kidding me? That was it. And 20 years later, I'm still talking about it. But we're friends with Fred Taylor. And look, we all think Fred Taylor is one of the best running backs ever. And statistically, he is. He's in the top 20 for rushing yardage. In fact, I don't think of running backs that are eligible for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, every running back that is eligible to get in that's above Fred Taylor in rushing yardage is already in. And the guys that aren't eligible, like Adrian Peterson, guys of that sort, they will be in some point. Frank Gore. So with that, I mean, Fred Taylor's in the conversation. But I think my point is our perspective of Fred Taylor is probably different than your normal Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. And I think he kind of heard it right there. Now, Jason Cole lived in Florida for many, many years, both in Central Florida and the Gainesville area. He covered the Miami Dolphins. He doesn't live in Florida anymore. So at least he has a good idea of Fred Taylor. But a lot of these Pro Football Hall of Fame voters, honestly, how many times did they see Fred Taylor play? How many times were the Jaguars the national game of the week from 1998 through 2007? Not many, right? So I do think from that aspect, it's going to be harder. I mean, Baselli was a bigger name nationally than Fred Taylor. And Tony ultimately got in. I think Fred deserves to get in, no question. I would vote for him right now. But, of course, I don't have that luxury. And I just thought it was interesting that Jason Cole, who is one of the guys that's going to vote, kind of gave you an idea of how tough it might be for Fred to get in this year. So I know you're not going to like that. I didn't like hearing that, but again, that appears to be where we are in that conversation. Look, the Trent Baalke stuff will be the stuff that got traction. It got traction earlier today. I'll say this. I have never heard anybody say that about Trent Baalke that I know. But the narrative is out there from a national basis about him. And for Jason Cole to throw it out there that that's what he's heard from people close to the organization, people within the organization, as he described it, do with that what you will, but certainly that was interesting, coming from a respected guy in the NFL media community and a guy that votes on the Pro Football Hall of Fame. If you missed any of that conversation, it'll be up 1010XL on demand. You can certainly find it there. Coming up next, more in the National Football League. A little Gator basketball, right? They tip off in about, where are we at here? About 20 minutes down in Gainesville against Missouri. We'll talk a little bit about that. Carson Beck to Miami. There's a ton to get into. We'll do it all. And Robert Salah, interviewed here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yesterday, Zack Rosenblatt, National Football League writer for The Athletic, based in New York, put out a report that he believes Robert Salah is much more in the head coaching conversation in Jacksonville than many others do. Zack Rosenblatt joins us to discuss that coming up here in about 25 minutes. On a Tuesday night in Jacksonville, Florida, with Dylan Denmark, the hacker Ryan Green with you here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Early afternoon means lunchtime.
Hey, want to get some lunch?
Have lunch with your friends.
You got any good friends in your life?
Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
Helmets and heels.
I can't believe we're doing this. This is the kind of thing they do in the movies.
Weekdays noon to 2 on 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a professional stamp licker from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Martin Celery.
Oh, gosh. I can't wait to play, Bob.
Well, let's move things along. Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
Wait, but
That's right, Marty. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we've stocked up on the remaining inventory of low-cost 2024 model air conditioners. So you win. We're passing the savings on to you.
Can I answer a question first?
We need to make room for the 25s, so we're offering great deals on AC replacements while supplies last.
Could I spin the wheel at least? I've been practicing for a year.
With last-minute deals like this, there's no question that you are cool.
What do I tell my kids?
There you go. Have a souvenir t-shirt.
Thanks.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
New year, new beginnings, and a new roof. Start 2025 with peace of mind and take advantage of Universal Roof and Contracting's limited time offer. 15% off all roof repairs and replacements. From leaks to full replacements, call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection today. This special New Year deal ends January 31st. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home and building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
I'm Max Fink, and I'm your Gator Updater. Listen for the Gator Report several times a week on 1010XL.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators. 1010XL.
Go, Gator! Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com. Show the coupon at the pharmacy and start saving. Single Care works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check Single Care to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Hi, Jags fans. Walker Little here for my friends at Kingfish Pest Control. Playing offensive line in the NFL, I must block and protect on every down. When it comes to keeping my home pest-free, I expect that same level of protection. So I contacted Kingfish after seeing thousands of positive online customer reviews about their service. I can confirm from personal experience, bugs don't stand a chance getting past Kingfish Pest Control. Do what I did. Reach out to Kingfish Pest Control to protect your home, a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Cannonball!
Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
Open enrollment is here, so it's time to secure health coverage for your family. Whether you need Affordable Care Act plans, dental, or Medicare, visit one of the Florida Blue pop-up enrollment tents near you. They make the process easy and stress-free with medical and dental insurance you can count on. Plus, listen to this. Based on eligibility, many people pay absolutely nothing for coverage. Find the perfect Florida Blue plan for your family at the Aaron Group in Orange Park near the intersection of College Drive and 220. Here's a reminder for Florida Blue members. You can access Sanitas Medical Center with 3 locations around town offering primary care, walk-in services, an on-site pharmacy, and mental health support. 3 Sanitas Medical Centers, combined with Florida Blue coverage and expert service you'll get from the Aaron Group in Orange Park, will make you feel like a winner in Northeast Florida insurance coverage.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. We're ready till 10 o'clock tonight here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. They're going to be tipping things off in Gainesville coming up here in about 15 minutes. Number 5 ranked Florida and Missouri. The Gators come in 15-1 on the year. How about this? Missouri is unranked, and all they've done is go 13-3, including a victory over Kansas. Big night of SEC basketball. You got 3 games involving ranked versus ranked teams. Right now, Auburn over Mississippi State. That's 1 versus 15. Auburn up by 13 with 4 minutes to go. Number 21, Ole Miss leads number 4, Alabama by 6. 8 minutes to go. And number 8, Kentucky leads number 11, Texas A&M by 11 with about 11 and change to go. Crazy how good the Southeastern Conference is this year. Absolutely just wild, nuts, crazy how the SEC has gone from, quite frankly, a mediocre basketball conference, because that's what it was for quite some time, to by far and away the best basketball conference in America. And it's not even close. You know, now weekly on the 1010XL social media platform, right? Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, I do a Awaken 180 number of the week. So I'll give you guys a little sneak preview at that tonight. Hopefully Florida wins, and I'm going to use it tomorrow if Florida beats Missouri tonight. If not, Denmark, a lot of my research will be forgotten, and I'll have to go back to the drawing board tomorrow. 2,586 days otherwise known as 7 years and 29 days, or just shy of 85 months. That's how long it's been from now till back then when Florida was ranked in the top 5. You have to go back to December 4th, 2017, when the Gator basketball program was in the top 5 in America. Again, 2,586 days ago. And yesterday they officially re-entered the top 5, ranked number 5. And again, they play Missouri tonight, tip-off in about 15 minutes at the O'Connell Center. You'll be able to hear that game on 1010 XL, 1010 AM. We'll stay with you on 92.5 FM. Denmark, I know that you have the award-winning Denmark and Marsh podcast. Gator basketball, man. Play it again tonight. They play Texas. They have the opportunity with South Carolina and Georgia next week. Again, you don't want to get too far ahead of the story, but they're going to be favored in every game they play of the next 4 minimum. I mean, you could legitimately be staring 19-1 in the face if they play well.
Yeah, it feels like that you should win a lot of these games up until you play Auburn, which is I'm looking at the schedule right now. Oh, sorry, you play Tennessee again February 1st.
And they will be ready for the Gators.
Yeah, and then the week after you play at Auburn. So you go to Tennessee on a Saturday and to Auburn. That's until February. But yeah, I mean, it feels like you should win a lot of your games, and then the next ranked opponent, if Georgia still ranked, is going to be at the end of the month, when obviously we know Mike White is coaching them. So it feels like Florida, they're at the point now where you don't even have to play your A or even your B plus game, and you should feel comfortable beating a lot of the teams you're playing the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And again, I agree with that, but you got to be careful because, like, Missouri's a prime example. You see number 5 Florida at home against an unranked Missouri team coming up in just about 10 minutes. Well, again, that Missouri team is 13-3. That Missouri team has a non-conference win against Kansas. That Missouri team has won back-to-back SEC games. They are a good basketball team coming in at 13-3 on the year. So that should be a good one down at the O'Connell Center tonight. Again, if you have not seen Florida play, they only play 8 guys. They got 4 guards. They got 4 bigs. Knock on wood, they stay healthy, and they have through the first 16 games. It's not the deepest team, but they might have the best backcourt in America. With Walter Clayton, with Elijah Martin, with Will Richard, and with Denzel Aberdeen coming off the bench, they might have the best 4-guard rotation in the country. They're absolutely in the conversation. So more Gator basketball talk coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. I mentioned this earlier. Robert Salah was in for an interview today with the Jaguars. Former Jets head coach, former 49ers defensive coordinator, was also a position coach here in Jacksonville. And some people that I've seen or even talked to kind of scoff at the idea of Robert Salah really being in play as a Jaguar head coach. I by no means scoff at it. Would he be my first choice? No. But he'd probably be in my top 5. Of the 10 names that I know that they're interested in interviewing or have already interviewed, I think Salah's in my top 5 of those 10 names. I would not be overly upset if that's where the ball landed. One guy nationally had a report yesterday that Salah is much, much more involved in this head coaching search than many people believe. His name is Zack Rosenblatt of The Athletic. He joins us in less than 10 minutes. I'll say this about Salah before we play that interview with Zach. Robert Salah was only the coach of the New York Jets for not even 3.5 seasons. So how much of a fair shake did he really get? Now, here's the thing with Salah. In just 3.5 years, he took over the Jets in 2021. They were awful, right? They had just come out picking number 2 in the draft with Zach Wilson. They went 4-13. A year later, they went 7-10. They went from 4 wins to 7 wins in 1 year. That's not terrible. Then they go out and they sign Aaron Rodgers, and you think they're going to compete now for a division. And 4 plays into 2023, Aaron Rodgers ruptures his Achilles. And despite that gut punch, the Jets still went 7-10. and were at least in the conversation for the playoffs in the month of December in 2023. So 4-13 to 7-10, 7-10 again with the Rodgers injury. And then finally here in 2024, he only got 5 games, and they were 2-3. And Woody Johnson fired him after 5 games. Is that great coaching credentials? No, but that's not dog meat either. Again, I don't think he necessarily got a fair shake in the Big Apple. I would much rather have him as the Jaguar defensive coordinator, but if for whatever reason Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen don't work out, and you tell me I could have a Robert Salah, I'd be okay with that. Depending, of course, on who he brings in as his offensive staff. Like Dan Quinn, right? Commanders bring in Dan Quinn. Well, he went out and got Cliff Kingsbury. The rest is history. Drafting Jaden Daniels helped too. So it's going to be all about Salah's OC if, and it's a big if, but if he does land the job here in Jacksonville. One guy that thinks that Salah absolutely could land the job here in Jacksonville is Zack Rosenblatt of The Athletic. He's based up in New York, and he joins us next on a Tuesday evening in Northeast Florida. We're glad you're with us. We roll on till 10 o'clock right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. It's Hacker After Dark.
Where electrifying moments come to life.
Inside of a minute to play.
And legendary performances live.
A monumental milestone in a legendary career.
1010XL, the power of Jacksonville Sports Radio. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hey guys, it's your boy ET, and you need a little extra boost in the bedroom? Blue Chew is what you need. By now you probably know that Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. So what you waiting for? Blue Chew is all online. No doctor's visits, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Plus, it ships right to your front door in a discreet package. Their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strengths for your prescription. Guys, if you don't like swallowing pills, no problem. Blue Chew is chewable. And ready for a great offer? How about free? Go to BlueChew.com, consult with a licensed medical provider, and get your first month free. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. Just chew it and do it. Visit BlueChew.com.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Instead of wasting money on resolutions you won't keep, why not invest in something that lasts? Like fixing that dripping faucet, clearing that clogged drain, or finally tuning up your AC. Call Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. We'll help you keep your home in shape this year. It's the one resolution you won't regret breaking. Call 904-862-6769 to schedule service today. Because when you're stuck, call the Duck. Right now, get $50 off any service of $150 or more.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Hey folks, Mike Detsy here for Pella Windows and Doors. Look, it's kind of cooling down right now. I love opening my windows up this time of year. If you're looking to upgrade your windows in your home, I want you to visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Ask about their latest hurricane and impact-resistant windows and doors, rated #1 by Consumer Reports in all 3 main window categories. You want quality, style, and protection? Visit PellaJacks.com and the showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. That's Pella Windows and Doors online at PellaJacks.com.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Hello. We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are glad you are with us. We are over a weekend of the Jaguar coaching search now. Virtual interviews have already started. The Jaguars have already talked to 4 or 5 guys already. In-person interviews will begin this week, and that includes a former NFL head coach and former Jets coach Robert Salah. How much in play is Salah when it comes to this Jags coaching search? Let's talk about that and a lot more with Zack Rosenblatt of The Athletic. He does a terrific job covering the National Football League with a focus on those New York Jets, and Zack is always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Zack, how we doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Zack, we're good. Thank you for the time. Crazy times in the NFL, right? Mike Vrabel to the Patriots, so you think, okay, 5 openings now, and then no more than a couple hours later, Dallas comes open because Mike McCarthy is not coming back. So here we are again with 6 job openings currently in the National Football League.
Yeah, the way this coaching cycle stuff has gone the last few years has been fascinating because it used to be everybody found out their fate on Monday, but now you have people getting fired during the season. You have them getting fired right after a game on Sunday in Gerard Mayo. You have people on Black Monday, and you have people a week after Black Monday. So it's really become a lot more fluid, and it's really fascinating. And part of the thing is that the process has changed so much in terms of when you can interview people, how you can interview them, if their season's still going or not, whether it's in person or virtual. Like there's just so many different layers now that it's really fascinating.
Well, we're going to focus on two of them. Our job here in Jacksonville and the New York Jets, the team that you cover up there in New York. But you had a report that came out earlier this week about Robert Salah, who obviously was an assistant here in Jacksonville, went on to be the DC in San Francisco, and then, of course, the head coach with the New York Jets. He's scheduled to interview in Jacksonville on Tuesday. And, Zach, you think Robert Salah could be much more in play potentially for the head coach here in Jacksonville than some others do?
Yeah, I do. I think he has a real shot at it, honestly. And it surprised me when I heard that initially because, as you mentioned, I covered the Jets. So I was here for his entire tenure, and I don't think it was a particularly, I wouldn't say it was overly positive tenure if you just consider wins and losses. I mean, they never had a winning record, never really came close to the playoffs. He did build their defense up really well, and it became one of the best in the league. And I think he's weirdly been helped. Like, if he had been fired at the end of the season, I don't know if it would be the same thing, but he was fired after week 5. They lose to the Vikings. They're 2-3, and the Jets just got completely worse. The defense fell off. They only won, I think, 2 or 3 more games the rest of the season. And it became clear that, like, he was, a better coach than maybe he got credit for. So I think that's helped him as he goes into this process. He interviews with the Jaguars. He's interviewing with the Raiders. But, yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons. I think the Jaguars are a team that, they have talent right now, I think, to compete right away. When he went to the Jets in 2021, that roster was pretty barren. He had to build it up. He had to fire an offensive coordinator and kind of start from scratch on offense. So the offense never took off. But he's inheriting Trevor Lawrence from day one if he got that job. They have some talent on defense and weapons. So there's that factor where, he's proven when he has, if he has a lead, usually Robert Salah wins at the end of the day. And the Jets kind of lost that when he got fired. And then the flip side of that is also that, the Jaguars in that building really value him from what I understand. When he was there in Jacksonville, that was when they were really good on defense. He was the linebackers coach. He's maintained relationships with people in that front office. And he just missed Trent Baalke in San Francisco, but I think they know each other pretty well too. So I think there's a lot of logic there in terms of, relationships built over the years.
As you can imagine, again, Zack Rosenblatt of The Athletic here with us on 1010XL. As you can imagine, people here in Jacksonville want the young offensive guy, right? Whether it's Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, Joe Brady, those are the 3. I think Aaron Glenn is growing on some people here in Jacksonville. Me personally, and I mentioned this last week, Zach, I would not mind Robert Salah. Now, a lot of it would come down to who he hires as his offensive coordinator, but if it were to land on Salah, I think the reaction from the fan base would probably not be positive, but I think they could do a lot worse, I guess, than Robert Salah. I would not hate that hire.
Yeah, I mean, that ultimately the biggest question for him is going to be offense. Michael LaFleur was his offensive coordinator his first 2 years. They were inconsistent and they definitely were flawed, but it turned out he was their best coordinator, and Woody Johnson made Robert fire him. I wouldn't be surprised if, hypothetically, LaFleur would be somebody he'd be interested in bringing over. And LaFleur has some experience now, and he was in McVay's system. But, yeah, ultimately, it's about the offense because he's more of a defensive coach. He's very involved on that side of the ball. I think he's involved in all 3 phases, but especially on defense. And so, yeah, the big question for any non-offensive coach is always going to be who's going to be your offensive play caller. And that would be the question he has to answer when he talks to the brass on Tuesday.
Zach, in talking to people around the league since the head coaching searches have begun here in the last week or so, how much of a deterrent is Trent Baalke being here in Jacksonville to some of these candidates?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think generally a head coach is going to prefer a place where the GM is open as well as the head coach. I think it is just more appealing to go on the same timeline as the GM as opposed to coming into a lame duck GM who's trying to, hypothetically save his job while trying to win right away when the coach maybe wants to build it out and not rush things. And so I think in that sense, it definitely is less appealing than, maybe another job would be where the GM job is open as well. And then, Baalke, I don't think has the best reputation. He hasn't done a great job building out teams over the years, and I was pretty surprised, frankly, that he kept that job, and I think a lot of people were. I think between him and Joe Shane in New York, I think people were really, really surprised that those 2 guys wound up being safe, and I don't know if it's hurt them in terms of the search yet because they haven't done a lot of their interviews just yet, but I think we'll find out based on, if they wind up with Robert Salah, you could maybe argue that is partially a result of Baalke still being in the building because I think Robert would probably be fine with working with Trent, whereas I don't know that like a Ben Johnson or a Liam Cohen would.
Yeah, I can tell you the Jaguar fan base was probably flabbergasted, would be the right word, last week when Trent Baalke was announced that he was going to be retained by Jaguar owner Shad Khan. A couple of more for Zack Rosenblatt of The Athletic. The New York Jets job is open as well. I don't think Jacksonville and the Jets are necessarily competing for the same people. Zach, you tell me. You're a lot closer to it. What are the Jets looking to do with their opening?
Yeah, they've had a pretty wide open search. I think they've talked to more than 10 candidates for both GM and head coach. A lot of their candidates are guys that have past head coaching experience, and some of them aren't that exciting. People like Steve Spagnuolo, I think the Jaguars are going to talk to. Arthur Smith, Vance Joseph, Rex Ryan. They talked to Mike Vrabel before he got hired. Ron Rivera. Like they really highlighted a lot of coaches with experience. But I think. As of right now, I think my best guess for who the coach winds up being is between Aaron Glenn and Brian Flores. I think Glenn has a lot of history at the Jets. He played there for a long time, was a Pro Bowl corner. He's beloved in that building. He started his non-playing career as a scout in their building, and he's close to Bill Parcells. And then Brian Flores is the kind of culture builder and someone who's going to hold people accountable that they need. So I think the Jaguars are probably talking to both those guys, and I think those would be my top choices right now.
Yeah, it's interesting you say Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn's built up a lot of steam here in Jacksonville. If it's not going to be an offensive guy, a lot of the fans do hope it is Aaron Glenn. Final moment, Zack Rosenblatt of The Athletic. All right, Zach, one more time for people just joining us. You reported earlier this week, again, your connections with the Jets. Obviously, you know Robert Salah from his time there, that you believe that Robert Salah is much more in play here for the head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars than maybe some people would believe.
Yeah, I do. I think there's a real chance he gets this job. I'm not 100% sure he's going to get it, but I think he'll do well in that interview, and he has fans in that building, and that's ultimately what it comes down to.
Well, that would certainly be interesting, and we appreciate the insight. It's a busy time for everybody involved. Best of luck to the Jets in their coaching search. Again, Zack Rosenblatt of The Athletic, thank you for taking time out. We'll talk again soon, my friend.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
There you go, Zack Rosenblatt of The Athletic. And the one thing that I took away, well, there were a couple of things that I took away. We'll get to Salah in a moment. But that's like the third different guy that I've talked to that either lives in New York or covers the Jets that brings up Brian Flores and Aaron Glenn. That appears to be the direction the Jets are going. They don't appear to be going for the offensive guy. Now with Mike McCarthy and this whole situation with him interviewing in Chicago, interviewing in New Orleans, I don't know what Dallas is doing, right? We heard about Deion Sanders last night. I mean, my point in all this is it appears to me that if you want Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, or Joe Brady, you're likely to get one of those three guys, right? Because if the Jets go defense, and let's say they do, that all right, they're full, that comes down to 5. Dallas, I guess, hypothetically could get one of those three, but we haven't heard anything from them. I would tend to doubt they would go in that direction. I think Kellen Moore might be in play there from his previous ties. So let's say Dallas goes Kellen Moore, or Deion for that matter, I guess. Then you're down to 4. McCarthy's going to either Chicago or New Orleans. I mean, that's almost a given. And again, the point is Joe Brady, Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, if that's the direction you want, the young offensive mind, odds are you would probably be able to get one of those three unless Baalke and Khan want to go for a defensive guy like a Robert Salah or a Brian Flores. Fascinating to see what happens. Again, it seemingly changes every 24 hours. Who knows what tomorrow night will bring here on Hacker After Dark. Back into the National Football League. We'll do a little Gator update with you. They have tipped off against Missouri. It's kind of what you expect, right? Not off to the greatest start, just frankly because it's a 9 o'clock game at home. They're playing an unranked team. Missouri's off to a 9-7 lead. 16 minutes to go in the first half. We will keep you updated. With Dylan Denmark, the Hacker Ryan Green with you. We're with you till 10 o'clock tonight, Jacksonville, as we are every night. Right here, Hacker After Dark rolls on 1010XL and 92.7 FM.
This radio station wouldn't make sense anywhere else because this station belongs to Jacksonville. 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. The new year is here. Is it time for a new you? I can relate if it is, because it was certainly time for a new me. February last year, 317 pounds. It was awful, man. It was awful. And then I heard about Awaken 180. I wanted to get involved. I wanted to check it out. And I had tried many weight loss programs in the past. None of them worked, obviously. Why would Awaken 180 be any different? I found out very quickly that it was, because I lost 19 pounds my first week on Awaken 180. It is the best weight loss program I've ever been on. The results speak for themselves. Down over 100 pounds. Go to awaken180weightloss.com, awaken180weightloss.com. Here's the bottom line. Awaken 180 weight loss changed my life. They can change yours as well. Awaken 180 weight loss.
You've got a circle of friends, right? Well, how about a circle of beer? All your favorites like Bud Light, Bud Heavy, Mick Ultra, or Natty Light. It's all there in the cold case at Circle K. Probably one right around the corner right now calling your name. Slide on in to a Circle K.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
How many schools are there in the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, and the Pac-12?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 16 teams in the Big 12. 18 in the Big 10, 16 in the SEC, but only 2 teams remain in the Pac-12.
It's about the hunt.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman. We take you from the water to the woods.
On the Nimnicht Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
Let's go to the woods, y'all.
Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. Join me and Pross live from the new home of Tyson Sound and Security this Friday morning. Grab a Chick-fil-A breakfast while you check out the golf simulators and home theater setups. Plus, enter for a chance to win a 75-inch Samsung TV with 3D surround sound and wireless subwoofer. Yeah, that's right, subwoofer, including full installation. Come see the drill live this Friday from the brand new showroom at Tyson Sound and Security, 3555 U.S. Highway 17, Fleming Island.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
February 18th and 19th. Learn more at jaxpal.org.
The Wounded Warrior Project provides what medicine and technology can't: community, counseling, and a second chance. Find ways to help at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Your high school girls can join the Duval Tides girls rugby team. No tryouts and no experience necessary. Learn everything you need to know at Jax HS Girls Rugby on Facebook and Instagram.
The Creeks Athletic Association in St. Johns County offers a variety of sports for children 5 to 18. Learn how to get your child involved at caale.org.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund helps families battling childhood cancer, and there are ways you can help. Go to tcjfund.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Hey, John, looking for the perfect family ride?
How about taking your family on a luxury ride with the all-new 2024 Cadillac Escalade?
That sounds amazing. If you're a loyal customer, you get $4,000 off. Or if you're new to Randy Marion, you can get a $3,000 Conquest discount.
And don't forget the 5% savings on retired courtesy transportation vehicles.
You can save over $10,000 on select 2024 Escalade.
Experience the luxury and comfort at Randy Marion Cadillac.
Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
Plus tax tag title $899 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
My friend Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. We'll talk a little Gator basketball, a little Carson Beck to Miami, and we'll talk about the college football national championship game. Inside of a week away, Notre Dame and Ohio State, the first championship game in this 12-team format. That's coming up with Brent Beard in about 10 minutes or so. The Gators are scoring tonight. The problem is they're not playing a whole lot of defense. It's about 6 minutes gone in the game, 13:48 to go in the first half. It's already 17-14 Missouri. Neither team is playing a lick of defense right now. Missouri is shooting the ball pretty well. This is what I was talking about when it comes to the Southeastern Conference. On the surface, you see the number 5 Gators at home against an unranked Missouri team, but then when you look a little deeper, you realize Missouri 13-3, Missouri with a non-conference win over a team like Kansas. It's a good basketball team. Florida's going to be in for a dogfight tonight. And Denmark, I got to tell you, man, now we're only 6.5 minutes into this game, but if you go back to Kentucky and Arkansas, obviously Tennessee was an anomaly because Tennessee didn't shoot very well. Florida needs to pick it up on the defensive end. They need to do it without fouling. They had 3 guys foul out against Arkansas. They've already committed 5 fouls in 6 minutes of the first half here. That is not a good recipe to put these teams on the free throw line so early in halves. And for the second game in a row, Florida's accumulating a lot of fouls very quickly.
I think they just got another one.
Yeah, it's wild.
So, and Missouri's red hot right now. So we'll see. Florida's only down 3, 17-14, 13 minutes left. Feels like it'll be a high-scoring game.
Oh, yeah, well, it'll absolutely be a high-scoring game. Hopes you took the over if you were so inclined. Quickly, I mentioned Carson Beck to Miami. Denmark, you like that from a Miami point of view?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know of any other quarterbacks that are in the portal.
I heard a little trepidation there from
highly
you.
Coveted. I don't know. I mean, as a Gator fan playing them week 4, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Like, I'll take that matchup. You know, you're playing Miami week 4 against Carson Beck.
Miami's setting an interesting precedent going to get Cam Ward last year and Carson Beck this year. Are they just going to be the 1-year rental for quarterback school? Because that appears to be the path they're going down.
Until they get the high school guy they really like.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't know what their roster looks like. I mean, I talked to JJ a little bit of what their offense is. They lost a lot of guys on their offense.
Well, they lost Restrepo. They lost Martinez.
Half their offensive line.
Jalen Rivers, the Oakleaf kid, he declared for the draft. He's going to get drafted. I mean, they did lose a lot. And it's interesting. You look at Miami's schedule next year, I think 2 of their first 3 are against Notre Dame and Florida. So we're going to figure out pretty quick if Carson Beck was the right man to lead the Miami Hurricanes, because that is a brutal September for Miami, playing the Fighting Irish and playing the Gators in the first 3 weeks right out of the gate. But we will talk about the college football playoff as well. It comes to an end on Monday with Ohio State and Notre Dame. Denmark's seeding was weird. The buys were questioned. Obviously, there were some issues with it. But by and large, year one of the 12-team playoff, you'd have to call it a success, correct?
Yeah, a lot of people are going to look at the first round, and then they probably didn't watch, weren't as highly invested as, they were into the last couple of games. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we all kind of knew the ones that follow college football, that Ohio State playing at somewhat their best is one of the best teams in the country, turned out to be that way. And Notre Dame is one of the more physical teams in the country, and they turned out to be one of the best. So, it was a lot of, kind of like the NFL playoffs. It's about getting hot at the right time and staying healthy, and Ohio State and Notre Dame definitely achieved that. And, we'll see tweaks down the road, but, I mean, there's no complaints at, how we got to this national title, who got to the Final Four. It definitely played out, and we saw it on the field and not in a committee room.
Ohio State, Notre Dame, Monday night for the national championship. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Carson Beck to Miami, and we'll talk a little Gator basketball. Missouri is just deciding not to miss. They have 24 points, and we haven't even played 8 minutes at the O'Connell Center. We'll keep you updated. Brent Beard, you see him on First Coast News. You also get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. He joins us next. Tuesday evening, Jacksonville, Florida. With you till 10 o'clock. Glad you're with us right here. Hacker After Dark rolls on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Let's take a look inside 1010XL.
Who wants the Grand Tour? That would be terrific. That would be great.
We have the drill in the morning.
Very amusing.
Jaguars today from 10 to noon.
Good.
Helmets and heels until 2.
Yes.
XL Prime Time and the Franchi Show afternoons.
This is great.
Then Baloo and Hacker take you into the night.
All in one location.
1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a professional stamp licker from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Martin Celery.
Oh, gosh. I can't wait to play, Bob.
Well, let's move things along. Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
Wait, but
That's right, Marty. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we've stocked up on the remaining inventory of low-cost 2024 model air conditioners. So you win. We're passing the savings on to you.
Can I answer a question first?
We need to make room for the 25s, so we're offering great deals on AC replacements while supplies last.
Could I spin the wheel at least? I've been practicing for a year.
With last-minute deals like this, there's no question that you are cool.
What do I tell my kids?
There you go. Have a souvenir t-shirt.
Thanks.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
Mia here. Since 1982, Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made the process so easy. She came to my house and designed a walk-in closet that's not only beautiful, but also incredibly functional for me and old Beau Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 800-293-3744. Hey, and if you mention Mia or Helmets and Heels, you'll qualify for free base molding. Call today or visit closetsbydesign.com.
It's the Gator Podcast Channel with Frank Frangie and me, Dan Hicken, on all things Gators. Hacker and Denny Thompson have Gator Bites, and you can find them wherever you find podcasts or at 1010XL.com. Presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Nick in here for Bow 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bow 9. Visit Bow 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bow 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Come on, admit it. Almost everyone you know seems to be playing pickleball now, right? So whether you just want to learn how to play or you're ready to show off your elite pickleball skills, the Y is the place for you. Visit our brand new McGuire Family Pickleball Center at the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach. 5 top quality outdoor courts and 3 amazing indoor courts where you can learn about dinks, dill ball, falafel, the kitchen, and more pickleball slang at the Y.
Ammon, you're always talking about how clean air is healthy air. I've had this cold for weeks. Can cleaning my air ducts actually help?
Well, Dad, I'm not a doctor, and let's be honest, you probably caught that cold from one of your grandkids. But I can tell you this, the cleaner your air, the better you'll feel.
Makes sense, but what do air ducts have to do with it?
Your ducts are like the lungs of your home. If they're full of dust, allergens, and who knows what else, all that junk gets blown into the air you breathe, especially now that the heat's running. And the EPA says improving indoor air quality can reduce health risk.
So you're telling me my vents are working harder than my immune system?
Exactly. That's why Zero Res is here. We're NADCA certified, and our truck mount system is the most powerful in the industry. Right now, we're even offering $100 off your total for January.
All right, sign me up. If it makes me feel better and keeps your mom off my back, I'm all in.
Good call, Dad.
Zero Res.
Spelled border backwards.
It's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. And then there were 2. The College Football National Championship will be decided next Monday night between Notre Dame and Ohio State. Boy, from Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois to the championship game, Ohio State losing to Michigan, now to the championship game. Really good stories on both sides. Carson Beck is coming back to college football, but not to Athens. He's heading to Coral Gables. And I want to talk a little bit about now the top 5 ranked Florida Gator basketball team. With all that, Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, my friend?
Well, I'm doing well, and as we have extra days of college football, that's not a bad thing at all, because this time last year, the season would have been over. Frankly, and last year's national championship game was on the 10th, this year on the 20th, too. So, Hank, just a point of personal privilege real quick, prayers for Bill McCartney's family, former Colorado Buffalo coach, died a few days ago, 3-time coach of the year. National title in 1990. They share that with Georgia Tech. And on a even more personal note, we mentioned this over the weekend, but our dear friend Jay Solomon, the godfather of sports radio in Jacksonville, died 27 years ago, 2 days ago on January the 12th. So a man who meant a lot to us and got us started in a lot of ways. So couple of in memorial, shall we say, mentions there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never got to meet Jay. I started 5 years after his passing. I started in 2002, but obviously I would not be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for Jay Solomon.
Yes,
None of us would be doing what we're doing if not for Jay Solomon. He was a vital part of sports radio here in our area, and we certainly know that name and just thank him for everything that he did for all of us in the sports radio industry. All right, Brent, let's talk about the two teams left in the national championship game when it comes to college football. And before we even get there, the first year of the 12-team playoff, the first-round games, even the quarterfinal games left a little bit to be desired, I guess. The semifinal games were nothing short of fantastic, and we'll see what happens with the championship game. But when you look at it from a mile-high view, success in year one, how would you assess it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we didn't agree with everything. I still say Alabama, South Carolina, or Ole Miss would have beaten SMU, would have beaten Indiana, but that didn't happen. And my understanding is when the next contract comes open, that SEC and the Big Ten will have 4 teams guaranteed, and that'll be a discussion on another day. But you're right, the semis were great. And even the opening round games, it was just great to see it. It's still a significantly better system than what we've had before. This is a guinea pig year, and I think it just gets better from here on out.
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. All right, Brent, next Monday night, the national championship game, Notre Dame and Ohio State. More surprised. I mean, the fact that Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois in September and all of a sudden they're playing for a title. Ohio State had Michigan plant the flag at Ohio Stadium. We remember the fight. And they have rebounded and absolutely looked amazing in their 3 contests since. Who has surprised you more that they're playing for the title on Monday night?
I would almost say, look, I appreciate the Notre Dame situation and running the table. Now, admittedly, they had a less than stellar schedule in order to do it, but they still won all their games after the Northern Illinois loss. So I would still say Ohio State, because that team, couldn't they have easily just rotated down the drain after that Michigan loss and never recovered from it. But instead they have, you see on the sidelines, the relief as much as anything else from Ryan Day and that coaching staff. So I think as crushing of a loss as that was, to be able to come back and reassert themselves the way they have, kudos to Ohio State with that.
They got to be the overwhelming favorite next Monday, right? The way the Buckeyes look. Now, Notre Dame's look good, too. And Notre Dame, look, when you knock off Georgia and Penn State, they're going to have a lot of confidence as well. But, man, Ohio State looks like a machine right now.
They do. The thing they figured out, and after the Michigan loss, was they have some incredible skill position players, and they need to use them. They did not do that against Michigan. They played the game in a phone booth, and that really hurt them. But when you've got guys like Jeremiah Smith, you've got to find a way, don't you, have to get him the ball. And he has proven to be, frankly, tremendous. And for both of these teams, I mean, their strength is very impressive. They're both really good defensive teams. I mean, frankly, what Ohio State's been able to do with Coach Knowles has been amazing the last 2 years, only allowing 12 points a game for Notre Dame. Al Golden, a voice from the past at Miami, really being able to to get that defense in high gear too. So but look, I'm with you. Notre Dame can't get behind by, say, 10 points, 14 points in trying to play catch-up the whole time. So going to be really incredible how they start in that ball game. But still, we're excited about it. And hopefully for you and I or walking with a cane and have false teeth, that we will have a national championship game played on Saturday night where it should be instead of Monday night.
Yeah, it's going to be Monday, January, what will that be, the 20th, I guess, for the game between Notre Dame and Ohio State. Really interesting coaching matchup with Marcus Freeman and Ryan Day, but clearly to both of us, I think the Buckeyes are the big favorite coming in. You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, there was some huge quarterback news since the last time you and I talked. Carson Beck takes his name out of the NFL draft and takes himself out of Athens, Georgia, and lands with the Miami Hurricanes. And you know, there's a lot of reasons why. NIL, obviously, a girlfriend played a factor, I think, as well, with her presence down there at Miami. Mm-hmm. But what does Carson Beck now do to the Hurricanes moving forward in 2025?
Well, that's going to be fascinating to see how quickly he is able to recover. Now, again, the problem he's going to have down there is they lose a lot of really good players from last year. Xavier Restropro is gone. The Horton kid at wide receiver went to Alabama. Rivers from Oakleaf is gone to the NFL. Obviously, Cam Ward is gone, and he was a really big help for them. Martinez, the running back transfer, is going to the NFL. So they've got to replace a lot of guys. I know they've done some to be able to do that, but in some ways it was a surprise. In some ways it wasn't. He was at Georgia 5 years. He was 24-3 as a starter. You're right, Hannah Cavender is his girlfriend. She's on the Miami women's basketball team. So I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. Now, there's been a lot said about the money. I mean, he's getting around what we hear is like $3.5 to $4 million. But, I mean, he basically got something similar in Georgia, according to their beat writer. So, I mean, we all know the money is important, but he had an extra year left. It was unusual that he didn't do it at Georgia, but I think they moved on. Don't you, Hack? I mean, Gunnar Stockton in the bowl game, they really adapted to him well. I think they really like his style in a lot of ways. So, you know, I get it. I get why people are making a big deal out of it. It is a surprise to some degree, but in the long run, Hank, isn't it a fresh start for both Georgia and Miami?
Yeah, it is, and we'll see what happens with that injury. That was a pretty bad injury Carson had from a quarterback perspective. We'll see how he responds. And really, when you start thinking ahead to 2025, boy, college football's got a lot of really good quarterbacks, right? The Penn State quarterback announced he's coming back. Obviously, DJ Lagway here in this state. Florida State and Miami are both bringing transfers in. Castellanos and Beck that are established starting quarterbacks. You think about the SEC with Garrett Nussmeier, right? There's so many guys that are coming back. It's really interesting to see what's going to transpire.
Well, it really is. Taylor Green at Arkansas was erratic, but when he's on, he is really on. Marcel Reed comes back at A&M, a dual threat guy. Nico is back at Tennessee. One of our favorites, Hank, Diego Pavia, is back at Vanderbilt. We've heard so much about Arch Manning that we think that he will be the guy because Quinn Ewers. Now, look, this is up for grabs. I'm curious what you've heard on this, too, is he may come back. And there are SEC teams that would like to have him. And Lenore Sellers at South Carolina. You mentioned DJ Lagway. So you're right. Because of NIL and being able to be paid to come back, this stuff's going to be fascinating. But like Quinn Ewers, we'll still have a little drama here toward the next few weeks, won't we?
And I told you this a couple of weeks ago when the Heisman was going. Sellers, that kid from South Carolina, absolute stud. And the fact that he's back in Columbia, that'll be a lot of fun to watch. You mentioned Diego Pavia as well. So it will be the year of the quarterback, no question about that. Final moments with Brent Beard here on Hacker After Dark. All right, Brent, let's end with a little college hoops. Boy, Florida's good, man. They're back in the top 5 for the first time in years, coming off just a dominating victory over Tennessee. They go to Fayetteville, and they take care of Calipari and the Razorbacks. They're actually playing, as we speak right now, against Missouri out there in Gainesville. But this Gator basketball team with Todd Golden, very, very impressive, 15-1 to begin the year.
And you can add to that, Todd Golden is the first Florida coach to defeat John Calipari in back-to-back road games. That's something he can tell his grandchildren, to say the least. Walter Clayton has a 3 in 39 straight games, tying Lee Humphrey for number 2. That's rather remarkable also, but Florida, it just looks like a machine. Frankly, all the way around. I heard you with Mark Wise, and who I really have a lot of respect for, and for Mark to say the praise that he gave to this Gator team is amazing. But, heck, look, you and I both know in this league, about the time that you kind of start feeling good about yourself and you get on a streak, you can go on the road and end up facing a team that you're favored by almost double digits with and get upset. So that there are no days off in this conference, are there?
No, there isn't. And it's like the college athletic world is upside down. It was a down year for SEC football, yet SEC basketball is clearly the best conference in America. It's fascinating how that's happened.
And it's happened because they have the best coaches, and they certainly have the best players. They have made a decision years ago, and people forget this, but Mike Transgisi, who used to be a conference commissioner, was brought in, and he said, how do we fix basketball? So he gave them a blueprint, and that's basically what these schools did. They improved everything, and they upgraded everything, and that is why this league is so much better. Heck, I never thought we would say this. This league is significantly better than the ACC, and that's with Duke and North Carolina, et cetera, et cetera. So the league is probably on, and we've talked about this before, they will get double-digit teams into the big dance. And would it surprise you at all the way they're going to have multiple teams in the Final Four?
Absolutely not. You mentioned the ACC. Look at Florida. Florida's 4-0 against ACC teams this year. They beat Florida State, Wake Forest, Virginia, and North Carolina. And you mentioned the Mark Wise interview. Mark, who has forgotten more about college basketball than I'll ever know, said that this is the best ever that the SEC has been, in his opinion. And I think that absolutely speaks volumes. You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, enjoy the national championship game. The next time you and I talk, we will have a college football national champion. We'll be back to recap Ohio State and Notre Dame next week. Thank you as always, my friend.
My pleasure. Have a great week, and we'll certainly look forward to it next time.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
And thank you to my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark is, we are now inside of a week away from the national championship game in college football between Notre Dame and Ohio State. And I'll tell you this, look, the playoff was not without flaw, right? The seeding is weird. The way they gave the byes to conference champions was weird. I mean, I think they need to correct some of it. You didn't have the most competitive games, particularly in the first round, but like Texas, Arizona State was fantastic. Penn State, Notre Dame was fantastic. I thought Texas, Ohio State was pretty good. I think the playoff has gotten better the deeper that we've gotten into it. Hopefully next Monday when they decide the national champion there in Atlanta between Notre Dame and Ohio State, hopefully that's a terrific game as well. But I think the playoff did far more good, right? I mean, I'm never going to complain about extra college football. I'm never going to complain about seeing more of one of the sports that I love the most. And from that standpoint, I think it's been a success. Again, needs some tweaking. I'm not saying it doesn't need some tweaking, but I'm happy it's here, and I'm excited to see what happens not only Monday night in this year's title game, but certainly moving forward into next year, which should be a really interesting year. As I talked with Brent, you think about all the quarterbacks that are coming back that will be in play in the SEC and the Big Ten. Should be a really, really interesting 2025 on the college football gridiron. Well, that will just about do it. It has been a very, very busy Tuesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, my buddy Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Thank you to Zack Rosenblatt of The Athletic, covering the National Football League. We talked Robert Salah. Robert Salah reportedly was in Jacksonville for an interview earlier today. And Zach, who covers the NFL, also covers the New York Jets for The Athletic, put a report out there, I believe yesterday, that Robert Salah, in his opinion, is very much in play here in Jacksonville for the head coaching opening. You know, we've spent so much time talking about Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen and Joe Brady and Aaron Glenn. Well, Robert Salah is a guy in his mid-40s, has had certainly some success as a defensive coordinator. I thought was a decent head coach. I mean, look at what the Jets became after Salah was fired. I would not be opposed to that. I know a lot of people don't like that idea. I'm not saying that'd be the first one I would vote for, but if the Jaguars landed on Robert Salah as their head coach, I think I would be okay with that. And I explained to you the reasons as to why, so we appreciate Zach taking time out for us. And back in hour number one, Jason Cole, longtime reporter in the National Football League. He is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter. Obviously, Jason had some pretty candid thoughts when it came to what the Jaguars did in keeping Trent Baalke. I also, even though I didn't like what he said, I guess I appreciated the honesty with Jason being a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter, essentially saying that he would severely doubt, that Fred Taylor would get in this year. I don't like that, but it was interesting hearing the perspective of a guy that will be voting as a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter on the candidacy of Fred Taylor. So we appreciate Jason taking time out for us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Wednesday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Tuesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Tuesday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Wednesday beginning at 8 o'clock.
You're exactly the kind of hero the world needs. At the end of the day,